Xbox on.
Game on, baby! Wow!
Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep.
Let's do this.
Hello and welcome to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit. I'm your host, Ross Miller, and I'm joined by Carina.
Hey.
And everyone's favourite lord and savoury snack, it's Rhys.
Hi, I'm the only lord and savoury snack, so I'm like the favourite by default.
Yeah, well, that's true. I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
My friend refers to you as Cheese Lord.
Cheese Lord.
Cheese Lord?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know who called me that, but I'm happy with the name.
It sounds like the worst musical ever.
Cheese Lord.
A music? Yeah, okay.
It's a bit like Lord of the Dance.
Well, I mean, you know, Meatloaf is pretty synonymous with musicals, so why not Cheese Lord?
I would do anything for cheese.
But I won't do that.
I won't do that. No. I'm not appearing on Chatterbait. What we do traditionally start this podcast with what we've been playing, and I've had a couple of messages this week celebrating me beeping out you, Rhys, talking about Nintendo. But you know what? I sort of missed it. So Rhys, what have you been playing this week?
Nintendo.
And Carina, what?
I'm kidding. Hold on. Let me finish. I did play Nintendo, but not very long. I also played a lot of Civilization because I was just playing that last week and it's good. And yeah, I haven't actually had a chance to play any games on the Xbox this week. Yeah, I mean, that's me for the Xbox podcast done for this week.
And Carina?
Well, I promised myself I wouldn't get addicted to Fortnite, but I kind of might have. So I've been playing that non-stop again. Mainly because it's just bridging the gap till Destiny, and I'm really addicted, and I just can't stop playing it. I don't know if it's just because you get daily things, or I just like the game, but I've been giving that a go still. Did a bit of streaming with it, and also I gave Slime Rancher a try. Just a very quick try, but I was like, woo, because it was free on Gold, as we discussed last week, but I was playing it well until my pink blobs changed into cat blobs, which then ate all my chickens, and I got really annoyed.
Sounds about right. But they were cute cat blobs, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Actually, anyone who's interested in Slam Rancher? That's a different kind of game. Slime Rancher should stay tuned to the pod maybe next week or the week after. We might have a pretty cool guest. It's the developers of Slime Rancher.
Well, I've been playing the same game as you, Carina. To be honest with you, I've been playing a lot of Fortnite.
I've really enjoyed it.
To the extent where Carina and our friend John got Carina, both and John, online at the same time, got them to come round and fix up my base, and then I went offline.
I know, just stealing our resources. That's what you did
labour,
there.
I see.
Like using us for our resources.
How
dare you?
Pretty bases, though. I've been going round making very pretty things in Fortnite and perfectly symmetrical structures and things like that. But it's a lot of fun. It is an absolute lot of fun. But the other game, which I've been playing this week, is not Slime Rancher. Still need to try that. But I renewed my Games Pass and I actually went back and started playing the Dead Island collection.
Okay. Ooh, Blast from the past.
I've not played through them.
I think it would be really hard to go back to after Dead Island. Not Dead Island, sorry. Dying Light.
Dying Light, yeah.
It's like the spiritual successor.
I prefer it to Dying Light.
Yeah?
I prefer the slower pace and the...
I guess.
Yeah.
It's more pure in a way. Like, it knows exactly what it is.
Yeah.
If you want to be like that. That was my biggest problem with Dying Light, is that it felt like two games that were sort of fighting against one another rather than one game that was focused.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, for me, there's just something very satisfying about pulling weapons out of suitcases, and you do that quite a lot in that game.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And you kick people in the face a lot in that game too. But Ross, I remembered I did play Xbox this week.
Ooh.
I can't believe I forgot. And I actually played a lot of Xbox. In fact, I played like 4 hours straight, which is an incredible marathon for me, if anyone knows me. I played Torment, Tides of Numenera.
And what did you think?
Well, I mean, I love the game, but I got distracted, by the endless stream of releases and never found the time to go back because, it's one of those games that requires you sit down and pay attention because, you have to read everything. But I found myself alone at home with nothing to do. I was saw it sitting in my games and apps and was like, you know what? I'm going back to this. I ended up getting hooked into it again. It's good. I'm near the end. It's amazing. I just spent some time in a city that's inside a giant flesh monster's stomach, I suppose. And all the buildings are made out of pustules and boils, and the doors are mouths, and it's charming.
So this isn't on Nintendo?
No. I mean,
sounds like a Nintendo game.
Oh yeah, classic Nintendo, Rivers of Pus, and it's amazing. But no, yeah, Torment's good. I definitely agree with Big Jez about how good that game is. He's the only person I know who's played it.
Jez Corden loves that game. He mentions that quite a lot.
He does.
Later on, Rhys and Carina had an interview with Ben and Steve from Pixel Maniacs. They have a game coming out later in the month called Chroma Gun, so that's going to be at the very end of the podcast. But for now, let's find out what's been happening in the subreddit this week.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast. This week in the subreddit.
So, former guest Major Nelson, yesterday,
I like how you dropped that, by the way. Former guest.
Former guest.
It's only Larry. He's been on once or twice. We have to get Larry back just before or just after the Scorpio launch.
The X.
Oh, that's a good call.
I know it's the X, but it's always the Scorpio in my heart.
Yeah.
Oh, I prefer the name Scorpio.
I think everyone did, but I'm so used to it being called the X now that the Scorpio was gone. We even had a theme tune once. Scorpio, yeah. Anyway, the Major posted that a new dashboard update was on the way, and now, as we record, it has been released. So I've had a quick go at it, would you say? I've updated, I've had a shot of it. And like the subreddit, I am not 100% convinced, but I want your take on it first. So Rhys, what is your take on the new dashboard?
I hate it. I do, web design, and it's awful. From a design perspective, there's so much wasted space. There's much more space for advertising than there is for content. And just little things like the fact that when you highlight something, it gets a glowing bolded edge like 7th grade HTML class. And they use, if you go to the new social screen, it uses a design language like a layout called multi-masonry, which is most noticeably used in Pinterest. So when I go to the Xbox, to the social tab, all I see in my screen is Pinterest. It's awful. But I have to say, it is fast. It is really, really, really fast. This is the fastest dashboard Microsoft has ever made. And if it wasn't for the Switch, which is just a white screen with icons, this would be the fastest dashboard there is. But I think the Switch is cheating just by virtue of the fact that it doesn't act. Yeah, it's just a screen, but yeah, so this dash is really, really fast. And of course, this has only been released to people in the alpha ring. Carina, are you in the alpha ring? Do you have this new dashboard?
I haven't been on the Xbox since this update. I don't think I am on the alpha ring, I'm going to have to check. I hope I am.
I have to twist some arms and get you into the alpha ring. You can't have someone on the Party Chat podcast not being all alpha.
I was about to say, exactly. I feel like this is some battleground, the alpha ring.
Battleground does have an alpha ring. Ross, what don't you like about it? Because I just had a rant and it felt good to get out. what don't you like about it? And what do you think it could be better?
Well, similar to you, I don't like the wasted space on the front screen. I feel as if that's not going to be wasted. I do feel that looking at it, that they're going to do something that will be included. Remember, this is an alpha ring. This isn't meant to be complete. I'm sure they are going to listen to feedback. I get the fact it's got lots of wasted space. I did prefer the previous home screen. But what I do love, as you said earlier, is the speed of it. And I do like the fact that I can bring up the menu in games. So I was playing Rocket League earlier.
That's great.
And I got a message. And I was in defence. And I literally hit the home button. It popped up. The game's still running, not on a small screen, but just to the right of where it is. I quickly read my messages, should I say, went back into the game, and I never left it. It popped up. It was a much needed feature, if I'm honest with you.
I was saving this for last because it is also something positive-ish. I really don't like it as much as the last, when you hit the button and the slide menu slide out, the blade or whatever they call it. Basically, now when you bring up the Xbox menu, as Ross mentioned, it pops out a little bit. It's no longer left aligned that sort of squishes your image to the side. It basically sits on top, like opening a folder or a program or an app on your PC. So you can do it from within the game and still sort of see around the edges of it. Like, I had to spend some time learning where everything was, but I can see how it's fast and fairly well designed. The only thing I don't like is that if you go to the Friends tab, all your friends are represented by a whole chunk of their gamer pics.
Only at the top. If you click
But what I mean is, like, that's useless. It's just a waste of space, because how can I know? People change their gamer pic like they change their underwear. But that's only a minor gripe. I think the whole, what is that thing called again?
Menu, the guide.
The guide, that's it, the guide. Thank you.
That one.
Yeah, you got it. I think the new guide is definitely a step in the right direction. I also like the way that you can open additional menus and they sort of like stack on top of one another like tiles.
Yeah.
So like you can go all the way to say, I don't know, I went all the way to clubs without leaving the program I had open.
Yeah. Well, that was much needed. It makes sense to follow that, and I hope they just get the home issues sorted, because people on the subreddit are clearly not happy about the adverts.
The subreddit is in open rebellion at this point. We have deleted hundreds and hundreds of angry threads. Please, guys, just relax, okay? It's gonna get fixed. I hope. In fact, we mods noticed, when Big Larry dropped the thread. Normally, he sticks around to answer some questions in the thread, but he dropped this and ran for the hills and did not post a single comment in there. So I think maybe they knew that the reception would be mixed. But as we say, it is the earliest of alphas, and you guys can check out a video if you're curious about what it looks like. And you're not in the alpha ring. Larry and Quick, that's Mikey Barra, did a walkthrough video, and I think that's on Larry's webpage and probably on the official Xbox YouTube account by now, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. One thing I have noticed is that after our conversation last week, obviously we are major influencers at Xbox on the Party Chat podcast.
Obviously.
Because
like I said, I'm going to get Carina into the alpha ring.
On one of the first menus you go into, it says tournaments.
Hey!
So after a long conversation on last week's episode about what is happening with regards to tournaments, it looks as if it's just round the corner, and that could be quite exciting.
I'll be keeping an eye out on that. Definitely.
Right, so moving on, one of the biggest secrets of gaming, and coming total out of left field,
no one saw this one coming.
User Donas won the Karma lottery and posted that Spotify is now on Xbox. Carina, Do you music while you, or listen to, do you music? Do you music? Do you listen to music while you game? Is this Spotify app something that you are going to use?
Honestly, to me, it's useless. I am really bad when it comes to music, mainly because as I grew up, I was a bit of a dancer. So to me, music, I literally sit and choreograph. So I can't multitask and do that while I'm playing a game. But the thing is, I enjoy music within a game. So I just prefer to listen to the game. To me, I know a lot of people will like Spotify and be, over the moon that it's on the Xbox. But personally, it makes no difference to myself. But that's just a personal preference that I'm not a big music person, music player, musician,
player,
music listener.
Are you an MP3 player?
I don't know, am I?
Well, some people like to say they consume music.
Consume music? Oh.
You're a big consumer of music.
Engulfed with music. Music man. Well, music woman.
Engulfed?
I am the music woman.
Okay.
That's a song, isn't it?
Woman.
Yeah, you come from far away.
This is just getting worse and worse. But, actually, that's an interesting perspective to have, because not many people say that. And basically, the internet's always taken up by the people with the strongest opinion and the loudest voices. But there are quite a lot of people who just don't give a crap about listening to custom music over the top of their game. And many times I also find it quite distracting. Like, I wouldn't play Little Nightmares and have the Beastie Boys rocking in the background, or maybe I would just for the hell of it. But
I really want to do that now.
I'd be making a statement if I did that. Anyway, what about you, Ross?
Well, similar to Carina, I'm not necessarily going to listen to music. The one game that I have integrated music into is Forza Horizon. Because of the radio stations in Forza Horizon, and I don't know if Spotify will come to Forza Horizon being a first-party game, but I do have playlists set up and things like that I will listen to whilst playing that game, and it works very well because it is essential listening to a car radio. But like you, I'm not going to be, although playing Battlefield with Hans Zimmer does sound quite good.
Yeah, that would be, there's always exceptions to the rule, of course. But
what I'm more likely to do though is Spotify has podcasts, and although there is a podcast app on there, I do find that Spotify maybe a little bit more functional for listening to them. So I may listen to some podcasts while playing some longer term labour intensive games. So I may use it for that. But like Carina, I would much rather listen to the soundtrack of a game itself than integrate my own soundtrack to it.
I don't think anyone listens to more podcasts than you, Ross.
No, I'm a bit of a podcast addict.
But for me, I'm the opposite to you guys. I am a huge music fan. If you can't tell by the way I look, I absolutely love rock and roll and heavy metal and that kind of stuff. I am, from Scandinavia. But I like all kinds of music. I play the drums. I like to make music. And music has always been a huge part of my life. And at the same time, and I love Spotify, by the way. Every other music streaming service is crap compared to Spotify when it comes to heavy metal. But anyway, at the same time, when I'm playing a game, I don't, as you say, I don't like to sort of interrupt the experience. Like, if I was playing, so when I was playing Titanfall 1, I started playing the soundtrack as a joke to Top Gun. And running around in Titanfall 1 while Danger Zone is pumping out the speakers is actually one of the coolest things I've ever done. But if I was playing a serious single-player game, like I said, Little Nightmares, I would never mess with that atmosphere. So I guess it depends what kind of games you like to play. Like, if you're just grinding in Destiny or mining in Minecraft, then okay, it's nice to play whatever you like to listen to. Although I know a lot of people like to snap back when that was a thing and actually watch Netflix in the corner while they do their thing. So yeah, for me, I'm very excited because, like I say, I love to listen to music, but at the same time, I don't know if it'll make too much of a difference to how I play video games.
No, this is weird, but I actually make my own tunes sometimes. Don't make my own tunes. Do you ever go into battle on a game and just start doing some random theme tune?
What is that? Humming it?
Humming it?
I don't know why, but I tend to go for the Pirates of the Caribbean theme tune.
Or just humming it to yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, no, not if I'm on my own, but like, it's like a I was going to say a battle cry, but it's not really a battle cry, I suppose.
You could do the old, the old Battlefield trick of when you get into the car and rock up to your friends, you can like honk the horn like dit 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 or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's as close as I get to music.
Really?
Remind me, what does the Pirates of the Caribbean theme tune sound like?
Yeah, please.
I knew this.
Remind me.
Basically, my favourites when I especially in I'm going to bring up Destiny like for ages now. But Destiny, me and my friend, like, there was a thing where we basically did a boss and we just kept dying because it was like way over our level, called the Nexus, and we literally used to run in going oh wait, that's the wrong tune, isn't it? Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. And then we'd like kill it, but then we'd die, so it kind of didn't work.
Kill it, then you'd die.
Well, we tried to kill it.
A
very bad attempt of killing it.
Right.
Several hours, because we basically just did the wrong level. But no, yeah, that tends to be our like battle cry, and I don't know why, but we always tend to resort to that theme tune.
The problem is that you've let Ross record that, and now that's probably going to end up with a full like orchestral remix at some point. But I'm okay with this. I'm looking forward to that.
Dubstep version.
Dubstep version.
Please don't give me ideas.
You could do that now, like at the beginning of the Xbox tunes in.
Something may happen with that. But yeah, look, I've always said this, any new feature, any new app that adds to the Xbox, there's going to be people that want it and are going to use it. So this is a positive thing. And we want to know, are you going to use Spotify? How do you use Spotify? And what soundtracks do you listen to whilst playing your games? Let us know in the comments below on Reddit or tweet us at PartyChatPod, and we may even mention it on next week's episode. Now, before we move on to the interview, I just want to give a mention for Clay's favourite game, Siege, which this week has hit 20 million players.
That's World War II.
Yeah. So is that 20 million individual players or Clay playing it 20 million times since the game came out? That is yet to be decided.
I was just going to say that this week I saw a small thread raging about keyboard and mouse being a detriment to games on console, and I believe we talked about it before. When I opened the thread, the guy was an avid player of Siege. And he said that he was getting destroyed by guys playing keyboard and mouse, and it just sort of brought it all back to me here. I wonder how Clayton feels about that. We have to ask him.
Well, it's not crossplay, is it? So
no, but people
playing the PC.
No, people. There's these things you can buy that you can plug into a controller, and they simulate mouse and keyboard. Like you can use a mouse and keyboard, and it goes through your controller to the Xbox or the PS4.
Sack that.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah, that's they're everywhere now. I can't remember what they're called, but they're everywhere.
You WASDers stay away from my games, that's all I'm saying.
Blasters?
Blasters? Yep, that's a thing. That's a thing.
It is now.
We mentioned it earlier on, but coming up is an interview with Ben and Steve from Pixel Maniacs talking about latest release, Chroma Gun. Now, I just need to pre-warn you, we did have some audio issues when recording this, so we do apologise if the audio quality is not up to our usual standard, but it is a great interview. Anyway, so closing out the episode for this week, here's the interview.
Xbox Snap This Week's Interview.
All right, everybody, welcome back to this week's interview. Today we have some super cool guests for you today from Pixel Maniacs, some developers from Germany. We have Ben Lochmann and Stephen Crouse. Hey, guys, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. Hey, thanks.
Sweet. And we also have Carina standing over there. And hi, Carina.
Hey.
And unfortunately, Clay and Ross could not join us for this interview, but we don't need them anyway, right?
Of course, we don't need them.
Right. Exactly.
I'm not going to say anything, but if you say so.
It's the cool kids interview. So, guys, like I said, welcome to the pod. It's very exciting to have you here. How about we start off, nice and easy, and why don't you guys tell us a little bit about, who you guys are and what exactly it is you do at Pixel Maniacs?
Well, my name is Ben. I'm the CEO of the Pixel Maniacs, and my job is mainly marketing and PR at the moment. And, of course, all of the boring stuff like typing numbers into Excel sheets and stuff like that.
Ah, my favorite.
I'm Steve. I am creative director at Pixel Maniacs, which means I am in charge of making games sucky and more beautiful.
That's good.
So later on you'll be releasing Chroma Gun. So in case anyone's a little bit unfamiliar, would you like to describe the game?
Well, Chroma Gun is a puzzle first-person shooter game in which you use an experimental gun to solve tests in test chambers that are set in a laboratory, and a snarky narrator guides you and gives you shit about your progress.
So is it like Portal?
Yeah, that sounds oddly familiar, but I can't put my finger on it.
That's the one way to describe it that surprisingly everybody gets hung up on. So yeah, Chroma Gun is sort of like Portal, and we had some fun with it in the game as well. It's actually a lot different, other than that exact description I just gave you. You have this gun, the Chroma Gun, surprise, and you get to shoot colors, right? So you can shoot red, yellow, and blue, and you can shoot walls, and you can shoot like these floaty ball droids that are called worker droids. And worker droids are attracted to walls of the same color. And you have to use that mechanic to like just move the worker droids through the world or through the lab, through the puzzle map, and you have to place them on buttons, or you have to make them cross electrified tiles so you can cross them. And it's like Portal with colors. It's been called Portal meets Splatoon.
Right, because I was actually just about to ask you to describe the primary mechanic, but you did a really good job. So what made you choose colors? I mean, like out of everything that you could possibly have, made a gun shoot.
Well, the game itself was created during Ludum Dare or Ludum Dare. We are not sure how to pronounce it, but it's a game jam where people from all over the world get a topic, and the topic of this game jam was called an unconventional weapon. And we had to think about some sort of unconventional weapon, and that's why we invented the Chroma Gun.
Oh, nice. I think you guys are about the third people we've had on this pod whose game begun with a game jam. We had Sumo Digital with Snake Pass. Their game started as a game jam, and there was another one. Do you remember what the other one, Carina, was?
I was just thinking that. I was like, I can't remember.
Yeah, there's another one, but that seems to be a really good way to actually come up with a really winning idea for a game these days, right?
I know, it seems that way. It is awesome because you get to try out I'm going to say quote unquote complete game within 3 days.
Or even 2 days. It depends on the game jam.
Yeah, that's true.
A few weeks ago, we participated in a German game jam called Beans Jam, where we only had 48 hours to complete the game.
That was nuts.
Ooh, nice.
What did you make?
Oh, I was going to ask that. I was going to know what was your topic.
It was actually pretty fun. The topic was Space Mafia.
What?
It was completely random. Everybody was so pissed because the theme space, they had that from the beginning, and then the second word was added just before the jam started.
Oh.
And in the end, it was decided between Space Mafia, Space Dinosaurs, and everybody was super pissed that Space Dinosaurs didn't make it.
Yeah, I mean, Space Dinosaurs are pretty awesome. You could have made
everybody
space.
Exactly.
You could have made a space
dinosaurs.
like Space Dinosaur Mafia, though. You could have gone.
That's what
like,
a lot of
all the
people
way.
did, actually.
I've just got an image of a dinosaur running around with a space helmet, but then would a T-Rex be able to get the helmet?
He wouldn't be able to get it on.
Yeah.
Think about a huge T-Rex with a cat on his sitting on his chair.
On his lap, and he's just petting the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
With his tiny hand.
up, but you can't refuse.
You wake up with the severed head of a. What would you wake up with the severed head over in your bed? Not a horse.
No.
Triceratops?
Probably something like that.
Back on topic, away from dinosaurs.
We can come back to dinosaurs.
I'm about to say, maybe this could be a sequel. Just add dinosaurs somewhere.
Right.
Have a little Easter egg. We were saying Chroma Guns a little bit similar to Portal. Would you say there's a lot of a difference? Like, what makes Chroma Gun so special?
Well, there's no portals.
Oh,
That's kind of a big one.
right. So So basically, you're saying that the main difference is the fact that it's like a testing chamber with snarky commentary.
That makes it very different. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Like what we found
the
out.
main similarity. Sorry, you caught me. Nice one.
Yeah, no, the main similarity is the outlying theme, I'd say, because that's what we were going for. Like, when we developed the game for the Game Jam, actually, we had it planned as a twin-stick top-down shooter. But then, like, development-wise, it became clear that we had a game with a gun, with the test chambers, right? And we were like, all right, let's try first person. And then we tried first person, and we're like, oh, this is Portal. So we decided to at the end of the game, it was set in space, and it had this weird spacey gun, and the droids weren't droids, but they were like blobby paint monsters. I'm not sure what to call them.
Okay.
But when we decided to like keep on developing, we thought like, okay, if this is somewhat similar to Portal, we have to play with that because like that's fun. So that's when the White Labs came. And the snarky narrator dude came.
Okay.
Before that, it was super abstract.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of Splatoon 2 lately. Ross isn't here, and he gets really pissy when I talk about Nintendo on the Xbox podcast. But so I can talk about it now. Ha ha ha. But I'm actually kind of I'm really loving the. Have you guys played Splatoon 2?
No.
Oh, it's really fun, and it's really colorful, and I'm actually it's quite refreshing to play a game that's it's all about colors. So I'm very much looking forward to giving your game a try, just for the sake of it. I think everyone's done with this brown, gray, grim, dark sort of aesthetic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But I actually want to ask you guys, because this is a question, I was really excited to write this question because it's something I've always wanted to ask, and we haven't had actually a puzzle game developer on here before, so you guys are the first. Congratulations. But so what I want to know is, how do you go about designing a puzzle room? Can you take us through how you develop a fiendish sort of brain teaser? Do you start with the solution and work backwards, or I've always wondered.
That's a good question.
One method of doing this is building a lot of them and simply testing them.
Okay.
That's a brute force way, yeah. So there's two methods we use. One, like Ben said, is just brute force it, just make a lot of rooms and just do whatever comes to your head, and then see if that works and if that's fun. And then what usually happened is you find some sort of mechanic that tends to turn up again and again, or show up again. The second was to, like you said, design the solution and then just make it incrementally harder to solve. So you'll start off a room that has an entry and an exit. And then you'll add a wall in the middle. Then you'll add a door so you can pass through the wall. You'll lock the door with the trigger. And then you add a worker droid to open the trigger. But then you block the worker droid from going to the trigger with another wall. And then incrementally you add more obstacles and add solutions to those obstacles.
Okay.
And
See,
then,
this is always fascinating to me. Sorry, please continue.
and then, like what I mentioned earlier, these mechanics that show up over time, you tend to use those in that process. Like, for example, we have what we call the T mechanic.
Right.
Shows up a lot in the game. When you, so you have these droids, right?
Right.
These droids are attracted to walls of the same color. Now, you have a wall, and there's a hole in the wall. Behind that hole, let's say there's a door in the wall, okay? Mm-hmm. And behind that door, there's another wall. So what you want to do is you paint the wall, the wall tile, left and right of the door in the color of the droid, so the droid floats between the doors, and then you paint the wall behind the door so the droid passes through, if that makes sense at all.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. So that's why you say you make a T, and you
right, exactly.
And I think
cool.
what really helped was that a lot of different employees were working on building puzzles, because we had an online level editor where our team could log in and create and play around with the mechanics we already had integrated. And different people get different ideas. So
that's true.
It really made sense that a lot of people tried to build some levels.
Cool.
Well, seems good. But seeing, when you go on about the mechanics, how do you essentially go, right, okay, this level's harder? How do you define one of your employees' levels to be easier than another? Like, is it by the amount of mechanics? Is it by, time? Or would you say, how it differentiates between them?
Yeah. Because that makes sense, because, levels go from easy to hard, right? How do you decide what's the hardest puzzle?
Well, you play it, and then you say, gee, that's hard.
Okay.
Just trial and error.
Yeah, apparently we didn't do that good of a job, because some of the... And I agree to some point, difficulty scales somewhat oddly in Chroma Gun at some points, but that's just because at the end we were trying to release, and we were still figuring out how to sort the puzzles, and yeah, sometimes individually sorting puzzles for difficulty does not sort puzzles for everybody, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
very subjective.
If I think about it now, to go back to, for example, Portal, there's quite a few puzzles, in the middle of the game that stumped me for hours, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute. I'm an idiot. Well, actually, at the time I was like, I'm a genius. And then I was like, wait, that was so obvious. Damn. Yeah. I'm actually an idiot, so.
That's puzzle games for you.
Yeah. Actually, based on that discussion, how did you guys, test the difficulty? When you know the solution, did you just hand it off to someone else in the team who hadn't played it before and watched where they start throwing the controller or what?
Well, we did this on the one hand, but we also launched the game first on mobile, because we used to be a mobile company a few years ago, and we thought it would be a good idea, but it wasn't. But mobile had the big advantage of having systems like Google Analytics to get it integrated into the game. So we could track and analyze dropout rates after certain levels.
You could measure the Ragequit.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
It was actually
amazing.
Vividly.
That's a good description.
I remember reading some posts from one of the developers at is it Frictional? They make Amnesia and Soma.
Oh yeah.
And they were saying that they can see where people quit the game and actually refunded it on Steam. And they said that they were actually really proud, this game is Soma. They were really proud because there's a certain moment in the game that I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but basically the only way to win is to stop playing, essentially, like it's one of those moments.
Right.
And a lot of people were just like, no, I'm done. And they quit the game and they refunded it. And they're like, that each one of these refunds is a badge of honor. So I can sort of see, in a way, being able to measure the rage quit is actually, kind of useful, I guess.
It is super useful.
I think there are also Unity plugins for it.
Yes, now they are. When we started, back when we released on iOS, I think it was still in development.
Is it built on Unity?
Yeah.
Handy little engine, that one, I have to say. While my mouth is flapping, and you guys are talking about iOS, what's it like upgrading a game from handheld to console? Like, what improvements do you get to make in the console edition?
Oh, minor improvements.
Yeah, it's just like, one or two more polygons. No, honestly, it's like, how do I describe that? It's like, you're spending eternity in hell, and all of a sudden you get a free pass to heaven.
Oh wow, really?
No,
nice.
it's not hell. Like, well, it's not hell, but consoles are. Oh my god. There's just worlds.
Yeah, one big problem is that not everybody has the newest iPhone.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to develop for iPhones 4 through 7, whereas, like, we develop on Xbox 1 through 1.
Yeah, that makes sense, really. I understand where you're coming from. Actually, we have had one other developer who went from mobile to console, and they were also German.
Really?
Yeah, Rockfish.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and awesome guys. And they said the exact same thing, more or less. That going from mobile to console and PC was like, sweet.
And you're never going back.
No, it's incredible.
But they have a really good mobile game. Was it Galaxy on Fire, I think? Or
that's very possible, yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I think yeah. Was it? No. Everspace is their thing.
Everspace is the current game, yeah.
Yeah, but I think they had a mobile game before.
Yeah, they did. Very successful.
So with Chroma Gun, have you guys ever thought about multiplayer? Either, local or even online? I mean, you could probably, get players to even make their own levels. Would you ever suggest that?
Well, multiplayer we have thought about. But, like, Portal multiplayer worked very well because you just add more portals, right? Chroma Gun multiplayer would not necessarily work because there's a very finite amount of colors. Also, when we first started making it, we had no idea what we were doing. So multiplayer was just so far out of reach for us that we were just, okay, let's finish the game, like single player before we, like, reach for the stars.
So Chroma Gun 2 then is when we should expect multiplayer.
I'm gonna let this CEO answer that.
Mr. CEO?
Well, I've learned from the past that you should never promise anything.
Very clever.
But it would be
very,
quite
very
cool.
wise.
Yeah.
That's why you're the CEO, I'm guessing.
We planned to, we were participating in this game jam where we developed Chroma Gun in 3 days. Well, the first version of Chroma Gun. And our idea was to, simply finish it. And this finishing process took about 8 months for the PC version. And 2 years later, we are launching the console version. So it takes much more time than you usually might think.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Yeah. So, guys, I want to ask, what other puzzle games are some of your favorites?
well, definitely Portal.
Yeah, other than Portal.
That's a given, right?
Yeah.
I never got around to play the Talos Principle, although everybody says I should. I loved Braid.
Braid is good.
Braid was fantastic.
What is this old game called? This Pipe Mania?
Pipe Mania?
Oh,
Yeah.
where you turn the pipes.
That's awesome.
I used to love playing that.
And that
was really good.
What was it? In BioShock, they had that
Yes.
the hacking minigame.
Yes, exactly.
That game is too stressful for me to play. That is insane. But have you guys played the Turing test?
No, people have been telling.
Yeah, because it's also one of these first-person sort of puzzle games. I highly recommend it.
People have been saying that.
So what would you guys say is next for Pixel Maniacs?
Well, we still have a few games in the pipeline. One, actually, I'm going to let Ben do this because he mentioned Pipe Mania.
Yeah, it's a friend of ours brought up Pipe Mania because he told us that the game is quite similar to our second project, Can't Drive This, because it's a game where one player drives the track while the other one builds it at the same moment.
That sounds incredibly stressful, but
it is
possibly fun. The best kind of multiplayer game.
Yes, it's like Monopoly level friendship destroying.
Oh, that's a tough call. I think the only game I've played that comes close to Monopoly is Overcooked.
Oh, I was going to suggest that.
That's cool. Yeah,
that's true.
I have seen like actual relationship issues develop at parties based on that game.
I know we've now banned it from our gaming nights.
But guys, we've reached the end of our little interview here. You've been such great sports, but I'm afraid I have one final question for you. And I know that, I see. At the beginning, I promised you that I was going to keep it casual and keep it fun, but I lied. You see,
no.
I have this one question that we ask all of our guests, and this is like the most serious, hard-hitting piece of video game journalism that you're ever going to hear. So I hope you guys are ready, okay? I'm really sorry that I have to ask you this.
Is it about politics?
Okay.
Yeah, it definitely is political. Okay, here it comes. Which classic video game character could you knock out with one punch?
Ha.
That's it. After all that,
You define classic?
You can define classic yourself because that's kind of impossible because that depends how much of an old man like me you are.
Okay.
Take your time.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Pac-Man seems to be easy.
You could take Pac-Man with one punch.
I wouldn't. You couldn't knock him over because he's round. It's physically impossible.
I mean, if you uppercutted him, he would like turn inside out, like when he dies.
It's true.
When he dies,
have to get him in the upper jaw, though.
And he's gone. So, okay, so you're just saying Pac-Man.
Exactly.
I want an answer from both of you, though.
Sure.
You don't get off that easy.
All right, hold on.
Think it over.
Screw it. I'm gonna say Snake.
Snake.
Yeah,
like,
the old school Snake.
Like
Screw him.
Snake, like on the Nokia 38100 or whatever it was.
Oh man, that's a good game.
Snake as in Big Boss.
Oh, that's Snake.
That's Snake. I'll beat the hell out of him. Yeah.
Snake. No way.
I would just wait for him to get to get the attention of a guard, run away, and I'd trip him, and then I'd do the rest.
That is the most ballsy answer I think you've ever had on here. Snake.
I'll do it or I'll die trying.
I was ready for like Snake, like Nokia Snake. I was like, yeah, okay, we can go there. We had Frogger on here. Major Nelson from Xbox said Frogger. So I was like, yeah, in fact, we had the entire Xbox support team on here, and almost all of them picked some sort of animal. The Duck Hunt dog is really unpopular. Someone said Echo the dolphin, like animals. I was ready to go there.
From Goat Simulator.
Yeah. But Snake.
That's not. Yeah.
Okay, that's one for the record books. Good job. Just be careful. One day you might have to follow through.
I'll be ready. I'll be training.
Oh Lord! But seriously, thanks guys for dropping by. You've been
thank you for having us.
Absolutely fantastic guests, and you've been really good sports. Even though we've been asking some pretty lame questions. Chroma Gun is coming out when?
On the Ben, I will say it wrong again. 23rd.
23rd, yeah. 23rd
There we go.
of August.
The 23rd of August. So that is from the time of listening to this podcast, just under 2 weeks, because we are coming out on Thursday the 10th. So you got, 2 weeks after hearing this to save your pennies to pick up Chroma Gun, and it's coming out on the Xbox One, and what else? PC, PS4, what?
It's already out on PC, and it's coming out on the 23rd on PS4 as well.
Okay, sweet. So it's out on the Xbox One first, and that's all that matters. And thanks a lot, guys, and see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You're listening to Xbox One Party Chat Podcast, the official podcast of the Xbox One subreddit.
Let's do this.
Xbox One X.
It'll sting you with 4K picture to poison your eyes. Beware of
Xbox One X.
Its main basic functions are its plot tour the world and Xbox Live will welcome you with a subscription, like the nobleman welcomes his kin, with free games each month and a voice chat that helps you to win. Now beware of its G-flops of power. It's got 60 frames steady each game. And on Thursdays, come here for our podcast with hosts Ross and Clay. Rhys, Ross and Clay.
Nope, they're right. Scorpio does sound better.